The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Okay, the controllers are charging. The game list looks like everything's in order. The new graphics have come in and they are looking very video game. Oh! It looks like we hit record a touch early there. Anyway, hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Dino Fury Second Era episode review. Well, here we are again at the border of the 20s, and it seems like another season of Dino Fury doesn't really have any sort of overarching plot to it. It sure feels like we're railroading towards another unsatisfyingly quick conclusion. But I've been wrong before, and I hope that I'm wrong once again. Let's take a look at the 19th episode of Dino Fury Second Era, Bad Vibes.
Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can see all of our videos.
Yeah, and make sure you got your notifications set up by hitting that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we post any brand new videos.
Right you.
What he said was that if you'd like to support the channel in any way financially, you can consider checking us out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos.
Right you.
We start things off with Warden Garcia and the drilling crew, who have apparently just about finished that drainage system in the woods. I will say right now that yes, once again, this has been this connecting through line through these past several episodes. It's just that it's been such a small part of the past few that when it does finally pay off, whether that's this episode or one further down, it just doesn't seem like it's going to feel very satisfying because it wasn't a big important plot detail up until then. We do see that the Warden uses a passcode along with the key, which is why Void King's key didn't work before. The drilling was done overnight, which I guess is safer for the animals and for any people that would have been visiting the forest. So when the Warden gets home, his wife and kids are just getting up. Eventually, she reminds them that their annual karaoke party is that night, to the kids' disappointment. An interesting note that I was hoping they would expand on further in this episode and explain a little bit more. The kids say that yes, they know it's the annual celebration of when the two of them met. Talking about Izzy and Javi. So, like, an adoption party for one of them? Or their parents' anniversary of when they started dating and when they let their kids meet? The kids manage to whine their way out of it, their mother saying that if they can think of something more fun to do, they will do that instead. Next scene, Void King gives his queen a gift, the Sporix Blaster. It's a gun that has been charged with Sporix energy. Remember, Sporix energy turned the two of them into evil monsters. They don't seem to even themselves be aware of what the gun would do to a person, and I don't imagine that they have a ton of Sporix energy on hand at the moment, but Void Queen says it does have potential. At Buzz Blast, the Rangers all discuss ideas for the Garcia family, whatever it is. Jane and Jay Borg overhear the word karaoke and leave to quickly plan some comic relief that I'm sure I'll groan at later. I will say, during this scene, Ion mentions an island on Rafcon, and Zato explains what it is. What it was. But I'm still just not feeling the type of anguish from him that I think I should be. It's not like a beloved pet or even a family member of his died. His entire planet is gone!
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Solon calls and tells the Rangers that Wreckmate has been spotted near the waterfront, which is appropriate. There's a little bit of cringeworthy dialogue right before the commercial-less break that I have to talk about. Wreckmate is telling people to run or he'll make them walk the plank. The Rangers walk in and Zato goes, "What plank?" "You know, the famous pirate punishment. From the movies." "I don't know what you're talking about."
Shut up, Wesley.
So they fight, with Ollie and Amelia especially getting some nice acrobatic flip moves in. The Garcias chase Wreckmate down into a little waterside concert area and get punched back. Zato goes Dino Knight, specifically out of expressed confusion over Wreckmate's puns. He beats Wreckmate around single-handedly and even uses the spinning finishing move, but for better or for worse, Wreckmate survives it. The Garcias run in to finish the job, but Null-Eye, whose name I only remember because I'm watching the show with captions on, jumps down with the Sporix gun and hits both of them. They shoot at the other Rangers, but now they're aware of it, so they dodge around and all the other shots are missed. Ion jumps down off a canister and blasts the Sporix gun, destroying it. Wreckmate scolds Null-Eye. They were supposed to hit all of the Rangers. Otherwise, how's the Queen going to get her Sporix? They retreat. The others help the Garcias up, but they can see that they're okay. They think that the effect of the blast has worn off. In fact, they should all just get back to the base now. So, they get back to the base, the other 4 Rangers demorph, and Zato asks Solon to run a medical scan on the 2. They tolerate it for about a minute and then get impatient. Izzy shoves Solon into the other Rangers and they make their move. Izzy using her Dino Dagger to open the Sporix chest. I just realized that a Dino Dagger did something that it was actually intended to do. Then Javi uses the hover key to grab the chest. It's Ion to the rescue once again, blasting Javi's hover sleeve to drop the chest. Izzy and Ion grab the chest at the same time, and despite the fact that I don't think their hands were touching on the chest, this is apparently enough to activate Ion's Ravkonian powers, sensing the evil inside of her. She punches him away, but Zato jumps right on the chest in his place. The two likely realized that the Rangers were going to morph soon, and this was going to get even more difficult, so they retreat. The Rangers are understandably stunned. I can't decide if this was funny or not. Amelia goes, "What just happened?" And Ion literally describes what just happened, like she wasn't standing there looking at it. They piece together that their friends probably haven't just decided to change sides after 41 episodes, and that the blast they took was probably responsible. Weird little thing here. Zato very wisely tells Solon to block Javi and Izzy's morphers from being able to teleport back into the base, because they don't want another surprise attack. But then he says that they need to find them, and fast. I've got kind of a wild, out-of-the-box idea to try to track them down. Have you considered tracking their morphers? Are you trying to tell me that you can prevent them from teleporting into the base, but you can't track where they are? Anyway, the two of them are reporting to Void Queen, Slither, and Mucus in a forest somewhere. They apologize for their failure, but really Void Queen is just more impressed that this is actually working. She tells the two evil Rangers to get her Sporix children back and not to let her down like everyone else has. Slither says, to be fair... Oh, you know I'm gonna do it.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Well, to be fair.
Anyway, to be fair... They've only failed thus far because the key they managed to get was a dud. Oh dear, the two Rangers that know about that key are evil now and standing right there. They explain that the key will work, they just need the passcode, which they can get from their father. By the by, no, that key should absolutely be a dud now. That key was stolen. Even if the machine has a passcode, you change the physical key.
The level of incompetence in this office is staggering!
The two have a great idea on how they can get to the drill. Their idea to replace karaoke is take your kids to work day. They want to know about the drill. Warden Garcia really doesn't feel like going back to the drill. Basically, it's Saturday, and he's like, I just spent an entire week working with that thing. But his wife says that it's a minor miracle that the kids are interested in his job now, so let's go. And they do, with Mucus riding along on the back of the car in goo form. Just after the car is gone, the 4 other Rangers show up, a near miss.
You gotta be quicker than that.
They arrive at the drill site, the kids talking their dad into activating the heavy machinery with nobody wearing any sort of protective equipment. He punches in the passcode, which Javi calls out loud, 0312, with the excuse that he's realizing that the passcode is March 12th, that day, their family day. Besides the fact that I'm not going to talk about the sliding timescale of this show once again, the fact that they're calling it their family day and not like an anniversary or something really makes me think that one or both of the Garcia children are adopted. Mucus, who honestly got off the car a little too soon and it's lucky that she wasn't noticed, manages to memorize the passcode. Here's my thing. At the moment she's memorizing the passcode, the drill is running. Just take it now. You don't need the stupid passcode if the drill is running. Anyway, Javi and Izzy then pretend that they're suddenly interested in karaoke again, and hey, they heard that Buzz Blast is having a karaoke party right now. The parents decide to go, and apparently didn't really care that their kids said that they were interested now because they don't seem to go with them just to walk away. Mucus activates the drilling machine, and Void King and Null Eye teleport in with a brand new Sporix beast, Clawfair.
I get it.
I don't get it.
So I had to check Ranger Wikia on this one, and even they said that it appears that Clawfair's name is a combination, a portmanteau if you will, of claw and warfare?
Wait, that's not a gag, that's barely a sentence.
Clawfair is also wearing a lab coat, as it did in the Sentai footage. It's apparently a doctor and a gnome. Can I just call it Dr. Gnome? That's a better name than Clawfair. That name is Clawful, which would also be a better name. I actually checked. Power Rangers has never used the name Clawful. It was used on Masters of the Universe once. What was I talking about again?
My beard is not an affectation.
Void King programs the drill to come up under the Rangers' base, but it's going to take some time for it to get there. So he orders Null Eye to take Dr. Gnome and create a distraction for the Rangers. This is gonna be Clawsome, Dr. Gnome says. Clawsome would be another better name for this monster. And by the by, the drill apparently doesn't travel the whole way there underground. The base stays above ground and it just extends and fires the drill head into the ground on a cable? Okay. So they go off terrorizing humans, also getting their steps in for their fitness goals, which is a funnier joke now that I own an iWatch. The 4 Rangers teleport in and tell them it's 4 against 2. They say to count again, and despite that being a perfect time to bring in the other 2 Rangers, they just meant that they were summoning henchmen. That coat makes you look like a doctor, Amelia screams. And we'd be happy to send you to the emergency room, Zato adds. Like we practiced, Null Eye yells as they charge into battle. It's actually really interesting to hear the villains make even a small reference to practicing or rehearsing. I really only think of Jungle Fury in terms of the villains practicing or rehearsing anything. Anyway, they fight for a bit and we cut over to Buzz Blast for their karaoke event with DJ Borg. Cute. The Garcias show up and get to go first, dragging their kids with them on stage, which is really impressive considering that the kids did not get into the car with them. Also, it was at this point that I could see where this was going, but I was hoping that I was wrong about it. Zato takes on Null-Eye and pulls out the Dino Knight Morpher, but hasn't put the key into it just yet. This gives Null-Eye the opportunity to throw its sword and knock the thing away, then attacking from above with a slash. That's fine. You don't want to deal with a knight? How about a master instead? Zato goes master mode and beats Null-Eye around, even prompting a "quit it" from Null-Eye at one point. For the finisher, Zato uses the T-Rex key for the T-Rex Master Strike. I think it was the T-Rex key. It was red, and I did see a T-Rex on the graphics in the attack. But the attack was fire-based, and the fiery dinosaur that chomps into Null-Eye and destroys them at the end there had a head crest on it. Kind of like a Dimetrodon. Anyway, yeah, Null-Eye blows up with a, "Well, I had a good run." Oh, I just realized that could have been another exercise pun. Back to Buzz Blast, and if the Garcia kids were reluctant to do this whole karaoke thing, they don't really show it, participating in a really fun Partridge Family-esque song and dance number to another pretty good original song. Can we get an OST for Dino Fury? It would have some good tracks on it. We abruptly cut away from that to go back to the fight, and I found myself disappointed. I thought they should have at least layered the music under the fight, which would have been a nice touch. Amelia uses the smash armor to punch the Doctor back, and it's another classic example of a really minor little thing in Power Rangers that gets under my skin. The constant string of announcements. I've talked about it before, just constant strings of saying the same basic phrases over and over again to announce an attack. Here's what Amelia said to summon the smash armor and punch this monster. "Smash Dino Key, ready! Smash Battle Armor! Smash Fury Blast! Smash, 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 smash Bros Brawl! Just put on the armor and punch things!" Dr. Gnome grows from the attack, basically destroying the building that he was punched inside of. Oops. Zato asks Solon to send some Zords. I kind of love how he basically asks her to surprise them every week. She sends the Zords to form the Primal Megazord. A few punches, and we go right back to Buzz Blast, which I was actually liking better this time. The Garcias did such a good job that they let them move right into another song, a love ballad between the two older Garcias. And no, it's not that some time has passed that they just didn't mention. Izzy and Javi have left the stage, and Izzy directly says, "Oh, they went right into another song." And yes, I called this. I know it sounds really easy for me to say after the fact, recording this after having seen the entire episode, but there is a reason that I use this.
I was right!
And this.
I was the wrong one!
The two watch their parents singing, and while at first they have their full evil attitudes about it, they're forced to admit that they're having fun. And then, yes, their love for their parents, or their love of karaoke, or the air conditioning in Buzz Blast, or whatever, breaks the Sporix Energy's control over them. Aww, the power of love won out over the power of evil. It sure would be a shame if someone had a line that shattered the faintest hint of logic about this moment.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
My memory is a little fuzzy, Izzy declares, but I specifically remember us getting out of doing karaoke. Internal logic is a through line for a story. It may not be necessary for younger viewers, but an older viewer will absolutely notice an inconsistency, and it will take them right out of a story. Here's an example. The power of the Sporix energy is broken because Javi and Izzy see their parents singing and enjoying it and having a good time and love their parents, that they know are their parents. They love them. That is an aspect of their personality, which would suggest they were being influenced. But then the spell breaks, and Izzy implies that they have no memory of what was happening, meaning that it seemed like something else was in control entirely. It would be different if whatever was in control of them had spoken in the third person. Like, wow, their parents sure seem to be having a good time. Yeah, and I'm feeling this, like, really strong, icky love that they have for their parents. Yeah, me too. It's getting pretty gross in here. I think we need to bail. It makes no sense for them to know what was going on and know who their parents were and everything, and then to completely not remember what was going on. I will say that while I was rehearsing this take, I did have come to mind the illusion of getting drunk, where you know who you are, you know who your friends are, and etc., but then the next day maybe you don't remember what happened. That's a possibility, but considering who this show is targeted at, I really don't think that's what they were going for. The two head back up on stage anyway for literally the last single line of the song. Then Annie comes running up and declares an evacuation. The Rangers are battling in their Zords just a few blocks away. I love this not only as a really subtle way in the script of informing Javi and Izzy what's going on, since the Rangers obviously wouldn't call them, but in general, I love when the two plots interact. It can feel like the Ranger action and the human stuff are different shows sometimes. Weirdly, the Garcias don't actually show up to the fight, and the Rangers don't end up needing their help anyway. They do get punched back a bit, but then they hit the Doctor back, knock them up into space, and use the finishing blast to destroy them. The powered-up Sporix falls to the ground and is collected by Void Queen, whom the Rangers directly confront, with Javi and Izzy now showing up to show everyone that they're not under evil control anymore, though they reiterate that they do not remember the last few hours. Void Queen says they did exactly what she needed them to do, and leaves. At the base, Solon is working on a particularly hard crossword puzzle when everything starts shaking. The drill machine blasts through a side wall, and Void King steps inside. He blasts Solon away and does what evil Izzy and Javi really should have done from the start, taking the chest with his hands and leaving. Solon barely manages to crawl over to the console and inform the Rangers before falling unconscious. That's a little better. Let's see how much better as I balance these scales. Episode 19, Bad Vibes. Pros: the Garcia family is charming, the stakes with the Sporix felt high, and the evil acting. Cons: a really Disney resolution, this plan felt disconnected from the bigger plan, and awkward editing. I wrestled with the scoring here. I wanted to give this a 3, but it wasn't quite that good. Bad Vibes gets 2.75 scales out of 5. Family stuff on Dino Fury has been really charming, and this is no exception. All the scenes with the Garcias were really cute. I will admit there was a flashback sequence that I forgot to mention right before the spell was broken that reminded me that we had seen their mother before in that episode with the dress confusion and prom and etc. But overall, yeah, some really cute, almost family sitcom-like moments. For a single episode sort of plan, the stakes with the Sporix chest felt pretty high, especially the sequence where Javi and Izzy try to steal the chest. There's a lot of back and forth action. Afterwards, the Rangers are understandably stunned and confused at what just happened. It's kind of weird to me that this plan serves as the distraction for the drill plan when they really would have accomplished the same thing. It feels like they should have tried this plan earlier and more often. Another item that I have mentioned in several past reviews, it's always fun seeing the Rangers pull evil personas, and this was no exception. Izzy especially had some facial expressions while she was evil that were pretty fan-worthy, shall we say. I think what it is that the Rangers overall maintain very energetic but somewhat plain and child-safe personas, so seeing a change to something darker and more nuanced is always refreshing. Like I said in the plot recap, as soon as Javi and Izzy were at the karaoke party, I got a feeling that I knew how that was going to resolve, and I wasn't a fan of it. Dino Fury has been mostly technological in its solutions, with a few notable exceptions. This magical power of the heart thing just really doesn't kind of jive with its overall tone. I think it would have been better to have Solon monitoring them, have her try some sort of beam that would free them, it hits them, and then they have that, hey, this is actually kind of fun moment, so she sees that it's working, and she jacks up the power to free them the rest of the way. This kind of ties directly to the pro about the high stakes, but this was a standalone plan serving as a distraction to finally get the drill plan accomplished. And that felt weird because it felt like this plan had a better chance of succeeding. Make another Sporix gun. Make another 6 Sporix guns and shoot each of the Rangers at the same time. I realize the villains can't be too smart because you need the Rangers to win, but it also needs to make sense in the story why the villains are picking one plan over another. You probably also noticed me mention this a couple of times in the recap, but the editing was kind of wonky in this one. I just didn't like how we kept going back and forth from the fight to the karaoke thing. They've done that kind of thing in episodes before. Well, I think this week it's that the Ranger action was kind of boring because it was a fight that was established from the start to be just a distraction with a monster that they only shoved in so they could use the Zord footage. And on the other side, we had this groove and original music that I was actually enjoying. I can't quite give this episode the same flack as the past two for not being the action-packed race to the finish that I wanted it to be. It did shove in a, well, not even really a moral. As a matter of fact, the preview for this episode said that we were going to learn why karaoke night meant so much to the Garcias, but besides the couple of mostly unexplained references to their family day, the Garcias didn't really learn anything. But we did have human-focused plot that felt more important to the episode than the driving Ranger stuff. However, there was a dramatic payoff for the drill stuff, and it mattered in this episode more than it has in the past few. Minor spoilers, the preview for the next episode mentions something entirely unrelated to the Sporix chest, so I kind of expect that to be resolved rather quickly. Well, I've already mentioned it, so let's take a peek at the 20th episode of Dino Fury Second Era, The Invasion. The Rangers are stunned when some Rathconians, Zato and Ion's people, arrive on Earth. But delight turns to trouble when they learn the aliens have bad intentions for the planet. That is going to do it for another Power Rangers Dino Fury Second Era episode review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know what you thought of this episode, as well as my review of it, down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you'd like some merchandise that has my logo on it, unlike the plain shirt that I'm wearing today for reasons I'm not going to mention, make sure to check out my Teespring store. Google Orange Ranger Videos Teespring. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. So, here we are, at the end of the 20s, and it just won't feel like there's been a lot of satisfying build-up to it to make it that important. They shoot at the other Rangers, but they're aware of it now, so they all dodge around and miss all the other shots. She hits him away, but Zato... Then Javi uses the hover key to grab the chest. Sure does. Another item that I have mentioned several times in past videos before, it's always so fun seeing the Rangers pull evil personas, and this was no expression.